got an interesting topic to talk about today.
Hey, we're back.
Listen, MashUp TV is a production, okay?
We're so excited today that we have our special guest.
I'ma say what I got to say. I'ma say it with my chest. I ain't ready. Welcome back to MashUp TV.
Hello, happy Monday.
Happy Monday. How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing good. You know, it's a Monday, but you know, I'm gonna stop saying it because Mondays ain't even that bad. You know what I'm saying? Mondays are okay, honestly. It's a stigma against Mondays, and we're gonna stop doing it.
Yeah, like why Mondays gotta be bad? Like, I mean, and plus, like we get to like do what we actually love. So like, I mean, bro, like you.
I'm good. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to see you. I ain't seen you in about a week. I feel like you've been gone. Lord have mercy, having so much fun. I know we're gonna talk about that today.
Yeah.
So how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. You know, I actually got some good sleep last night in my own bed. That was nice.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's always good after you've been out, like kind of in the streets and stuff. You know, and I don't know about other people, but I never even sleep really good in hotels. Like it takes me a couple like nights to get used to like sleeping in a hotel. Yeah. It's just not my bed. Like, and like I have to like almost wear myself like completely out for me to sleep good in a hotel.
Listen, I understand. I get it. But we're glad to have you back, and I'm excited for our MashUp TV Live today. We got a few things that we're gonna talk about. But you know, we're gonna get it kicked off. We got this before we get going. We got some people in. I can't see the chat yet or see where we're going. But anybody saying hi? Anybody in the comments yet? We want to make sure we welcome our people on in because we love our MashUp family. How y'all doing? If y'all out there, say hi back to us because we love you.
Please say hi. It's so good to see everyone.
First of all, while the people come in, this haircut. Listen, the haircut is still giving. Okay, we still trying to get used to it. Okay, but it's still giving. Period.
You know, I feel real. I feel attractive. You know, I feel sexy. You know, I feel young. I don't know what it is. There's something about like the bald head. You know, there's a couple of people was like touching it this weekend. So.
Oh well, that's a great segue because let's go ahead and talk about this past weekend. So what was you up to where people was touching out on your head, brother?
So I went to the Sex Down South conference, which is in Atlanta, Georgia. It's been happening for the last 11 years actually. It was created by two Black queer women. It is a conference. It's a 3-day conference that focuses on sexual liberation, like different sex practices, kink practices, and everything in relation to sex. It's a very sapphic place. It was like, and this the theme this year was spiritual awakening. So they really had a lot of topics and a lot of speeches around sexuality and spirituality and the intersection in between. And man, when I tell you, I like saw some things I have never seen before.
Oh my!
I learned some things I have, didn't know existed. Man, did you know, especially because the way that we define sex is very limited. You know, most of us, when we think about sex, we only think about penetration. We don't think about other forms, other ways to receive pleasure. And there's so much more outside of just straight up penetration that you can really get into around sex. Like there is, all types of foreplay that goes. And so like they had like a bunch of live demonstrations around flogging. You know what flogging is?
You throwing out all these terms. I was like, listen, can you give us a quick little one-on-one?
So flogging, that's when like people use like that like whip looking thing with all the like lashes on the end of it.
Okay.
But like most people think that shit really hurt, but it's made out of this really soft leather. It feels much better than what you think it does. Wow. It's called impact play. But if someone does it right to you, it can get you going. I saw this man use like a flogging thing, and he used like this electrotherapy thing. There's like a way that you could like supercharge like a person's electromagnetic field around their body, so that
Okay.
when I touch them, like you could feel like the static running across your body, and like it's like very sensual. Then like wax play. I saw like this guy like you did this thing where he like poured these candles down this woman's back and then used a knife to like scrape up the wax off her back. It like I feel like I'm not describing it right. But it's like sexy like,
Send me
at
some
the
videos.
time. Like I don't know, man. And like when I tell you, I mean, and honestly, when I tell you this weekend, I feel like has like changed like my brain chemistry. I'm not the same person. I
Wow.
feel like I am not the same person that went down to like 6 down south and like to be in this space with all like these like different bodies. It was a bunch of like it was such a beautiful space because there was a lot of black femme bodies there. There was a lot of trans bodies there. There was like white, black people, everybody across like different races, a lot of non-binary people just really engaging in different types of pleasure, being free with their bodies.
Yeah.
And child, you look at people, you think they got one thing in between their legs, they open up, you see something else, child. It was, it's an illuminating experience.
What I love that you're sharing this because I think that the more and more we talk about this, we're continuing to destigmatize, this conversation around kink. And I'm just transparent. I'm still learning, and so I love that you're coming back and sharing, sharing with me, so I can, get some of those things out of my mind because like these conversations are important because, actually, can you just tell us why these conversations are important?
They're important because there's a lot of shame that people have around sex about pleasure. There's a lot of shame, and people don't even know like there's different ways to enjoy pleasure. You may not even really enjoy penetration, and there's different ways to enjoy pleasure and to get like things. And also, kink is so important because a lot of people don't realize that kink sometimes can be a way of reclaiming your power. It can be a way of working through trauma. There are sometimes like people who like if you feel powerless in real life, you may want to take a more dominant role doing like sex play or doing kink stuff, and it helps you like kind of process some of that. They talked about alter egos during this conference and how alter egos could be like a way for you to process trauma and to process other emotions that you don't feel comfortable with. Honestly, I created a different alter ego this weekend because I needed to explore some things. I didn't realize I did until I went to this conference. I told you they changed my brain chemistry, Brian. I don't even know if I could really call myself gay anymore.
Oh my gosh! Listen, we're gonna support you in your wherever part of your journey you on. Okay.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that because y'all gay men. I mean, some of the gay men can be very judgmental, depending on like how. And that's one of the things I enjoyed about being in this space. I mean, it wasn't just like queer people there, but there were a lot of like heterosexual people, a lot of like different types of folks, and you have both heterosexual and queer women, men, trans people, all in one space, kind of looking at different things and talking about different stuff. We're all looking at a fisting demonstration in front of each other, looking at stuff. I mean, and just kind of engaging with each other. I had a lot of conversations with straight black men, and like, forming like very real and like respectable like relationships with people in a sexually charged space. But it didn't feel dirty. It didn't feel unsafe. There was no like, I don't know how to describe it, to be in a place that is very sexual, but still very safe, where consent was important. There's a lot of like, I mean, it wasn't, I don't know, like it was very different from being in like sexual spaces for just like gay black men, because like, or just gay men, because all of this like very primal energy and people grabbing you and stuff like that. There was nothing like that going on. It was very sensual. It was beautiful. I mean, yeah, it was beautiful.
I absolutely love this. Who can you talk about who puts on this conference and like how more people can learn about it?
So you can find out more about it at sexdownsouth.com. I found out about it through our village keeper, Corey Reward, who shout out to Corey and Holy House. And you know, Corey does a lot of sex education for us. And speaking of that, we're going to have like our own kink demonstration and education thing at the end of this month. We're going to get to later, but Corey invited me down there, and she and Miss K, who we know and love, run the dungeon at Sex Down South. So you know, the dungeon is where, you know, people can go and do that kink play and demonstrations and stuff. And I mean, that was even like a very safe space. Mm-hmm. It wasn't. I mean, it didn't feel nasty. I didn't feel like forced to engage with anything. Like it was honestly beautiful. I mean, when I tell you, when Black queer women make a space for like liberation and stuff, it is beautiful, top notch. I'm like, I have so much. I'm so happy I went.
Yes.
So, like,
you know,
I was like Brian, like, okay, I'm sorry. So one night, when I tell you there was like strippers everywhere, and like so much like and like different types of strippers, but like they like had this thing called like the Big Bang, and like there's literally strippers like on every corner of the room, and then like people like getting like whipped and like butt naked in the middle of the room. And my Black ass, I was just like, it was so much going on, and I was on shrooms, and like I had like a whole like I had like this whole realization, and I started crying.
Oh my God!
A strip club.
What's okay?
Half naked next to me, consoling me.
Listen, it's okay.
I don't know. I was so like outdone. Like it was.
This is a good topic today. Okay. I love it. You know, Jerry, I was thinking, and I don't know if those people may not be aware of this, but like this week is Sexual Health Week. And you know, just kind of thinking about the importance of sexual health, even in these conversations, because I think a lot of people don't even know. And when you brought up Corey, it made me think about it, because she's our sexual health educator who is also in this kink space. And a lot of the reason why I feel like we love, you know, having these conversations is because we can tie into still sexual health, which still ties into, you know, our missions. And you talked about consent, which is something that's very important. Like we need to have more conversation about what does it mean? What no means no. Okay. And then if you get consent is consent. Okay. But you know, also what does safety look like? What does, you know, protecting, you know, yourself look like? And so, you know, can you kind of talk about like how you see it kind of correlating with Sexual Health Week, your experience this past weekend?
Yeah, because we talked a lot about like consent. For one, there was a culture of consent. You know, there was a culture of, you know, like, hey, you can do all this stuff, you do these things. Here's like the things that you need to do this. There's like people walking around, and like there's like, you know, there were people who were like checking on like, you know, the folks, like if you looked like you were too drunk, that you couldn't give consent. They would like come and tap you and be like, hey, are you okay? And it was, I mean, you know, it was like, in order for us to be healthy, in order for us to do things, you have to be operating from a place of knowledge. So going to things like Sex Down South and learning about different sexual health practices, learning about like, hey, if you want to engage in bottoming, if you want to engage in fisting, if you want to engage in some other type of play, like how do I do this in a safe way? What are some of the tools that I need to engage in? How do I use sex toys? What are like the different lubes I need to use? Like there's a lot of things, you know, that could be and like people have like, there are some people who have messed themselves up, you know, like there's like all types of stories. And like my friend like some of the people I know who work in the medical field, they could tell you all these stories about like how people get things stuck up their anuses because they were using the wrong sex toys. So like I learned this weekend why you only use certain toys or certain dildos in your anus versus in a vagina. I mean, there's a difference, and there's a reason why you need to have like a base on something before you stick it up your butthole, because your butthole gets contract and pull the thing right up, and then you get stuck. So
they're gonna have you on the panel next year. Okay, you're gonna be a presenter, an educator. Okay,
you know, I wouldn't mind. But you know, I don't know. Like there was a lot of people who were way more educated in like the things. You know, I've done some things, but Lord, there was so I was a novice, friend. I was a novice.
Well, I'm so glad that you went and experienced that. And listen, that spirit gonna keep on going because like you said, we're gonna talk about some stuff that we got coming up later this month. So I'm excited about that. Anything else you want to share about the Sex in the South?
You know, I don't really have anything else to share, but if you are curious, I recommend that you all check it out. Go to the website, www.sexdownsouth.org. Go ahead and get your tickets. It is well worth it. It happens every year. I think around the same time, the first week of September, right after Labor Day. It is a beautiful experience. You will not be like disappointed in going, no matter how you identify. You know, if you're just interested, if you like being nude, if you like, you know, engaging in kink play, if you're just interested in like other forms of pleasure, even if you haven't experienced a whole lot, this is a safe space to go and find community and to like just, you know, have a good time. So I totally recommend it. Y'all want to go.
I love that. I love that. Before we trans in the chat, we got somebody said you looking like somebody's fine baby daddy. Okay.
Ooh.
Somebody said the shirt is giving blueberry patterns. Okay. You see Taylor came into the chat. She just celebrated a birthday. Our friend Taylor, happy birthday, Taylor. Yes, let's see. I don't know if you know Toolbox Atlanta. They have a nice underwear. They probably need to get some underwear from them. Okay, because it made me want to go to a kink convention with their underwear. Period.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, I had a pretty eventful weekend too. You know.
Yes. That was yours, friend. That was yours.
But let me tell you something. Yesterday, Nashville was. You remember back in the day when churches used to have, you have your regular Sunday service, and then you go eat, maybe take a quick little nap, and then you come on back for the evening service. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, that is exactly what we experienced last night. Durand Bernarr. I know, y'all already know who that is. Amazing queer artist came and blessed Nashville in such a major way. We had, first of all, have you heard of the artist Stout?
Yes.
Jerry, let me tell you something. I didn't even know Stout was gonna be there last night. And when I tell you the vocals were just vocaling, and it was just, the room was just in awe of what we experienced. And then we had this young gentleman by the name of Justin Ross out of Atlanta, who is a Black queer artist and also in the ballroom scene, and just came and just like gave us life. But let me just talk about the headline artist Durand real quick.
How was Durand?
We were in the midst of a church service. We also had a mental health component where we was in a group therapy session. Okay, we was in a revival. If we were, and I asked somebody there, I was like, I don't know how to make sense of all this. How do I categorize this? And this guy next to me said it was a mixture of all the things. Okay, we were literally revived in that place last night. Like, I just want to thank Durand for coming and just like really blessing our city. Like, I really felt like we were in a room with all of our MashUp family members. I know you were just getting back in town. I know you was tired. Well, brother, I wish you could have been in that space last night. My spirit just lifted up. I feel like I feel like he could charge more. You people want a discount. No, I want to pay more because that man deserved a higher. Someone, hey, hello, bro, I love you. I love you too. Yeah. Have you seen him before?
I have. I love Durand. I've been following Durand since like YouTube days and like all his antics on Twitter, back when Black Twitter was like a real thing and stuff. And like, it is beautiful to like see how Durand has like elevated his artistry and like the experience, like, because he brings you all of himself. Yeah. And like, he is such a big personality, and like, it's just so much. And I know, like, if y'all haven't listened to Durand's new album, for one thing, it's amazing. And like the lyrics that like he talks about, like, it's so real, especially to like the Black queer experience, and just like, you know, he talks about a lot of stuff that like I think a lot of us can resonate with. And I like, for me, like especially like this album, like at that time is just, I don't know, it's very key. Like one of my favorite songs on there like is Generous. And like that is like my my go-to. Like that has been like my theme song for this year. Like he talks about how like much work you had to do to be generous with my love, how much work I had to do to be like this soft, to be this kind to people. It takes work. It takes like real healing, not to be bitter, but like and I want to approach the world with generosity and love. Like, oof. Yeah, y'all. I know y'all was in church.
Yeah, let me tell you, the Justin got performed. He did something so unique. Mm-hmm. So he broke up the audience in 3 parts, right? He said, so this side, I need y'all to come up with one word. The middle side, come up with another word. And this side, y'all come up with another word. And somehow we came up collectively in our concert with bad bitches in therapy. And made a whole song about it. Oh. And yes, it was so cool. So the bad bitches in therapy. That was the song we made up on the spot. And you know, I started thinking, because also this week, Jerry, is National Suicide Awareness Week. And like again, when I told you like that experience felt like a therapy session. Like in between the songs, he would stop and give like some type of therapeutic, you know, almost kind of in your face, like a church mother, like getting you together, but in a loving kind of way, something that, you know, like kind of reminding you of things that you should already know, but also reminding yourself to make sure that you're intentional about your self-care, make sure that you're intentional about. He even asked how many people were in therapy, and I was so glad to raise my hand with somebody who was in therapy, and you know, kind of tie this into National Suicide Week. Like you never know who came into that space, you know, kind of just needing those moments, or just kind of needing that community of, you know, looking around and seeing people who look like them, and everybody loving on one another, and just, you know, that constant, you know, affirmation of, you know, that we are just, you know, beautiful human beings who are deserving of self-care and deserving of, you know, taking intentional time to work on ourselves. And so, you know, bad bitches in therapy, okay? Yeah. So listen, if you're not in therapy, we encourage you, you know, to get into it. And you know, I just hear somebody say, well, maybe I can afford it. And I know we're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about a program that we have and some of the things that we're doing here at MashUp, that you can get some of your therapeutic practices on. I may be jumping too far ahead, but yeah. Well, can we kind of talk about our healing circle things that we have going on, Jerry? Because I think
yes. So like our healing circle is a new version of the Mindful MashUp program. And this program, this healing circle, is all about helping people go through addictive behaviors. Anything could be addictive behavior. And if you're not sure, like kind of like about like what your addictive behavior may be, if you may be like, I don't have any addictions, but like, you know that you are going through stress and you're looking for better coping mechanisms on how to deal with the stress. You know that you're holding it in your body that's driving you to like smoke or go drink, or maybe like go have sex with people that you don't want to have sex with. You know, it could be anything. But we are talking about addictive behaviors in this space. It is a small circle of intimate environment. You could come out and just learn and listen and share a little bit. Tomorrow, we'll be meeting for the first time, and we're going to be talking about, first of all, these is totally free. Totally free. All you have to do is register, or you could just show up. But we're going to be starting at 6:00 tomorrow. The ground rules is like everything that happens in the circle, no one's allowed to talk about it outside of it. You come in this space, you know, you vow not to talk about whatever you hear or see with other people. You don't share anybody's business. No one is forced to share, and you can join in person or virtual. But tomorrow we're going to be talking about our guiding principles. First of all, we're going to be talking about neutralizing shame. Addiction is just a behavior pattern. It's not a moral failing. It's not your fault. We all have ways of coping with the stresses of this world. And sometimes we get caught in one behavior and it just becomes, it becomes a little bit too much. And that is okay. You don't have to be ashamed about that. And they exist on the spectrum. So please come out tomorrow if you're interested. This is a free space. We would love for you to be a part of us. It's going to be led by our amazing therapist, Ashley Shelley, who's incredible. And Ashley has like this very warm, nurturing nature that makes you just want to open up and tell all your business.
Yeah.
But it feels like a hug from Big Mama without the shame or any like judgment. And it's going to be a beautiful space. But you can find out more by going to that link below at www.mashupnation.org/MMTP and register for the link tomorrow night. If you don't register, you won't be able to get the virtual link. If you want to show up virtually or just register, you can come in person. We're going to be off of West End. You can find the address down at the link below.
Period. Okay, real quick. So, can you talk about some of the topics that will be happening in the future with the Healing Circles? Just kind of like hype up some of the other ones that we're going to be doing.
Oh, see, now you put me on like the spot, and I may not be able to remember.
What's some of the topic areas that we're going to be getting into in these Healing Circles?
Well, we'll talk about shame and talk about neutralizing shame. First of all, we'll talk about different finding different coping mechanisms. We'll talk about kind of trauma, how to identify trauma, and we'll talk about the difference between having something that is just a practice for coping, and at what point does behavior become harmful? Because there's a spectrum. Sometimes we don't even know that we may be doing harm to ourselves, because anything can become harmful when you do it too much and you're not staying in balance. So we'll talk about that, and we'll get into a lot of stuff. We got a whole curriculum for an entire year. And I would be able to read it if Brian had gave me a heads up. My bad. I ain't write the curriculum. My therapist did. So it's all right.
And this will be happening every first Tuesday of each month, correct?
Yeah, so it's going to be happening every first Tuesday. This month we started a little bit late because I was out dining and bopping last weekend. I'm joking, but for real, last week was the start of the month, and this is our first one. It was right behind Labor Day, so we decided to start it this week. But it's going to happen every first Tuesday. If you missed this one, you could join us on the next one or the one after that. So anytime that you want to join, you can. And if you can't join our monthly healing circles, you always reach out to us. We have plenty of resources to help you get free therapy. We have amazing partners like Healing in the Margins that does free therapy for anybody Black and queer on a sliding scale. If you're not queer and you want to find another way to get therapy, hit up Black Health Mental Health Village. Another one of our amazing community partners that does a lot of therapy stuff. If you are someone who has more strong addiction issues and you may need to go through some stuff, there's a LGBTQ retreat place, and I'm blanking on the name of it right now because what's the name of the we just was emailing them, Brian. Oh my goodness. But anyway, to this point, if you need resources, even if you can't make it to the healing circle, if you need other type of support, if you need individual therapy, if you need intense intervention, there are ways that we can help you. Yes. Even if you don't have any money, if you don't have insurance, you can still find help. And we are happy to support you. DM us, text us, anything. We're happy to help.
I love that. You know, Jerry, I'm so glad you talked about this because I just started thinking about the evolution of the Mindful Mashup Transformation Program. And this new phase of it is just us continuing work that we've been doing for like the past 3 years. And I
Yes.
say that to tie it into like, I'm so excited that next week, Jerry and I will be in Charlotte, North Carolina for the State of Black Health Conference, where we will be presenting on our Mindful Mashup Transformation Program to people from all over the world. And so, y'all wish us safe travels and great luck as we're gonna go do this presentation out in Charlotte to talk about the great work happening in our city. And if you're in Charlotte, okay, I think you might can still register. So y'all register and come check us out at the State of Black Health Conference. And you excited about it, Jerry? You excited?
I'm very excited. I'm like, this is like, I think this is our first time like really presenting on like work and research that we have done as an organization. So I'm really excited about it. It's just it's a blessing to like be able to do this and to go talk about with other people who are in the community and to just talk about like how we have developed this program. We put a lot of thought and intention into this program.
Yeah.
Like every time we get feedback from our participants, we are putting it back in. We are like revamping and constantly evolving. So really excited to talk about the way that we're have create this version of Mindful Mashup. So yeah.
Period. Well, listen, we're coming to the end of the show, so let's go ahead and get into our church announcements because we got some things coming up. So we know the Healing Circle is tomorrow, so we'll see y'all tomorrow at the Healing Circle. Make sure you RSVP so you can, get the link if you're gonna join us virtual, and you get the address and all that kind of stuff to come in person. I believe we have PO this week?
I think we have PO this week. PO is supposed to be hosted at the MashUp headquarters.
This Thursday, prioritizing ourselves with Byron Bankhead is going to be at the MashUp headquarters. We'll be putting some out on our social media and sending emails out about that. So you'll go ahead and register so you get the address to the new headquarters if you don't already have it. So we'll see you Thursday at around, I believe we start around 6 o'clock ish. I believe. Yeah. So we'll see y'all there. And then what we got? We said about the pleasure mashup.
Yes. So at the last week of this month, we're having Pleasure Mashup Week. It's going to be a lot of fun. You want to be there. So it's an entire week dedicated towards sexual liberation and introing people into certain forms of kink. So Monday night, the first night, it is Pleasure Signals, Flirtation 101. Yours truly will be teaching you.
Teach me.
How to engage in like flirting. If you are a shy person, if you are a person that has issues with connecting with folks when you go out, come into this class that Monday. I will be teaching you how to connect with people, how to flirt, how to make connections with people when you're out in social places. So that's going to be really fun. The second night, the Tuesday, we're going to be teaching the ropes 101 class. So if you're a beginner, you're interested in rope play, shibari, teaching people, like tying people up. I mean, it's interesting. It could be real fun. So we're going to be having a class on that, even if you're a beginner or if you have started and you want to learn like some new ways to tie people up, come to that class. The Wednesday night, we're going to have a workshop on pleasuring and the fat and fabulous workshop. So embracing fat and thin bodies. Miss K, who's amazing, is going to talk about how to embrace plus size bodies, how to feel sexy, and how to feel desired in your own body. So that's going to be really beautiful. Then that Thursday night, we have a lap dance class taught by Hot Coco, our very own. Then she is going to teach you how to do lap dances. And then right after that is sex trivia. So that's Thursday night. Friday night is a big finale. We're going to have a burlesque show, and we're also going to have an erotic film festival. And when I tell y'all the last time we did this, the erotic film festival was very interesting, and it brought up a lot of stuff. There's something interesting about watching an erotic film, and most of these erotic films are going to explore different parts of kink. So like this is a way for you to see like how different people have sex, or different people enjoy pleasure. You may be inspired to try some of these things out yourself. If you have questions, Our sex educator will be there and be able to talk about the things. If you need like support afterwards, we'll be there to like talk through the things and may bring up something for you. So, enjoy it. It's a great thing to like do on like Friday night. You need something totally different. You don't want to go out and drink. And come in, hang out with us, watch some nasty stuff on film, and it'll be fun.
I love it. Well, shout out to Holy House for helping us with it. And I understand like some of the proceeds gonna come on to MashUp.
Oh yeah, the whole proceeds is going to MashUp. So like everything is donation based. You
Wow.
you can pay what you want for the thing. If you go online now, we are offering weekly passes for $50. You can get a weekly pass. If you buy one weekly pass right now, you can get another one for free. I think that sale is ending next week though. So if you want to go ahead and get 2 weekly passes, but you can do that. But all of our classes are available based on donation. I think the only one that has like a set price is like the Friday night thing, because we need to pay the dancers.
Yes, we do.
Pay the dancers, baby.
Yes, we do.
And we have to pay to rent the film. So but come support us, this is important work. I don't think a lot of people really understand the importance of exploring pleasure and why it's important to have a life that is centered in pleasure and joy. There's so much more to life than just working and going to work. So much more to life than like having children and getting married. You can be a married person. You can like have a great job and you can be miserable. I know a lot of people who are. And we all can name some, but like how to find pleasure, how to love yourself, how to appreciate the body that you're in is really important work. And if you come to some of these classes, you may figure out a way to do so.
My goodness today. Well, I will be there. I'm gonna register for all of them, okay?
Yes. You gonna tie somebody up, Ryan.
Listen, all I heard in my head was Cardi B saying, tie me up like I'm a surprise. Okay, I'm sorry. But yeah, okay. Well, listen, we wrap this up. The last call to action. If you have not seen MashUp Weekend 2026, we have released it to the atmosphere. Okay, Resurrection Renaissance is the theme, and so we need everybody. Listen, go to our new website. Hello, our new website. Shout out mashupnation.org. Still the same URL. And go RSVP for MashUp Weekend, and you're on there. You'll see all the events that we just talked about. So you just make sure you RSVP for all the things, okay? And we're gonna see y'all. We got a lot coming up, and I'm excited. And so, yeah, Jerry, you got any final thoughts?
No, just so excited about everything that we have coming up. We even got like some more events that we didn't even mention. So we may be at African Street Festival too. So y'all watch out. Y'all gonna see MashUp in a lot of places this year. So yeah. Love you all. I hope that everybody's staying safe, finding some way to smile. So, stay safe.
Love you, MashUp family.
Bye.